Hello everybody, welcome to a new YouTube video. First of all, I want to thank all the support that I've received on Patreon. Thank you all that have joined. Um, let's try to nail the next moves there. But today I want to make a quick video related to altcoins and to show a different perspective, because no matter how much data one can share on X or whatever platform, uh, the general sentiment will always be ruled by green or red candles. That's it. To me, that shows that there is no real plan for many traders or investors or people in general in the market. It's more about buying when I just feel like that and just wait for everything to unfold without a real plan. Otherwise, people wouldn't be that worried. Would just be waiting for the next move after entering at the potential good spot with one good risk reward ratio. But it clearly shows that the whole sentiment shows that that's not the case for many, and that's why many will still not really make it this cycle, or make it not as much as they think. But I want to keep you informed and data driven. And this is the general total 3 chart with the Fibonacci extensions. This is my general perspective for the altcoin markets. And yes, I'll measure from the top in 2021 to the bottom this in 2022, right? So we get an idea of how it's doing. We saw the perfect rejection at here in December of the previous all-time high. Something that is not unexpected. It's huge. It's the highest level actually of resistance in high time frame, and this to me is the key area for reaccumulation. Right, those who were lucky to load up here after this correction, I think this is the best place risk reward ratio for what's to come. Mostly because you can see it was support here in pretty much September 2021 before the last impulse. Here was summer. Resistance here, the dead cat bounce in 2022, the top in March 24, and now it's pretty much acting as a support area. This is the range again for me to load up. We had this kind of V-shaped recovery after the dump into May, and now this rejection of 950, something we've been discussing for quite some time. It's another sorry, this is not the trend line that I want to use. It's another important area in between, right? Sorry, here, in between, right? But again, intermediate levels that do not affect the expectation for the whole cycle. We've been discussing for weeks that this Fibonacci level is a must to reclaim. We are pretty much there. It's just in the moment BTC enters in price discovery, obviously this Fibonacci extension will be reclaimed easily. And again, I still expect, I don't play around targets, but it's always good to have an idea, right? And I still believe 1.618, the golden ratio, could be a potential cycle top target, but again, it's still too far from where we are now. If we measure it from previous impulses, we can have like a 91% impulse here, 70%. We can measure it for another 70%, which combined are way higher. Here, measure it from here to 110%. So yeah, we can have that kind of impulse, right? Around, let's say, 100% move. And all that could, if we manage to pump from, let's say, this bottom, like a 100% move, something like that, the next cycle, the next stop, as I was mentioning for quite some time, could be this 1, 2, 3, 6. Again, I don't think this is the cycle top. I just mentioned this could be the one. And a pump here into previous all-time high to make it support, like pretty much like BTC did when it ran to 110k down to 74, right? And now it's open to push back up. Something like that with altcoins. You know that altcoins have been obviously chasing, always be behind BTC until BTC says it's their time. So this is the moment the altcoin stopped. BTC, however, broke above previous all-time high, right? Pretty much we don't see the wicks here, but pretty much front run it, became support, and then we push. That's something that we can see next, right? So again, really good. Compression is still building. Nothing has really changed, and BTC dominance again, still climbing. Until 3 still climbing with it, which is something we didn't see before, right? We saw that until BTC dominance, even back to the previous cycle, and even 2017, we can see that until BTC dominance dropped, altcoins were pretty much dead, right? Same pretty much like here. Until it decided to fully drop, we didn't have the impulse. But today, apart from this, I wanted to take a look at the a different chart. Sorry, I want to show this. A different chart, which is total 3S with BTC, right? Because it not only excludes the stable coins, it's a measure against BTC, right? And I think it's very interesting, because if we compare it to the previous cycle, we can see we have the impulse, the first impulse in 2017, and the second one to the top. Now, then the dead cat bounce, we tried again, several rejections, all this in a downtrend with this final shakeout into late December before pushing back up. All the time below, this is the weekly, remember, below all the MAs, right? All of a sudden they are reclaimed. Why? Because BTC dominance says so. Right? But again, in this initial drop from BTC dominance, they couldn't even just break the MAs, right? In this final push from BTC dominance, the final shakeout, and then BTC dominance says, okay, it's go time, and go time it is. And the picture is different in this situation, but first let me just compare this structure to this one. It's not exactly the same, of course, it's never going to be the same, right? But there are some similarities in the way they have developed. We see here the first stop in May, June 21, the second one here in in September, October, right? Summer, Q3. And then, yes, we have the decade bounce. We lose the cycle. It's pretty much in a bear market. In this case, we bounce from the 100, but I want you to focus on the structure, this lower high into a lower low, another attempt, which is a lower high, pretty much like this, a fake out above the MAs, and then it's just another attempt, pretty much here, losing eventually and capitulating, losing all the MAs, right? This is January 23 when BTC started its bull run, and altcoins just stay behind for now, pretty much. This is the fake idea. This is what people buy in 2021, thinking that it's gonna be the same in the next cycle, so I better position early in altcoins. And now they've been suffering for pretty much 2 years. Even though if you have chosen good altcoins, it would still be outperforming BTC, but it's way harder because we haven't had any proper season. So it's just more about selective altcoins. It's very hard to know which ones will run. You can follow the narrative, the stablecoin, the payments, the whatever, but it's really hard, right? The general idea is that still there are many doubts about the potential alt season. And what I see, we have this could be the fake out, which was the Q4 fake out above all the MAs, outperforming BTC, right? But not holding the MAs later, right? Trying to hold them with a lower high, losing the MA. It was just a fake impulse, right? And again, in 2017 and 2021 top, right? Even if you go to 2014, you can see there's a push above the 70 RSI against BTC, altcoins against BTC. It's another confluence point that we haven't entered the final impulse, the final euphoric phase. If we think it's gonna happen similarly, in the sense that it's gonna be some kind of outperformance, and again, we have seen that the total free market has been growing, right? I think it's normal to think they will push eventually. Otherwise, why? This is not retail pushing this market, right? Retail doesn't have such impact, so much money to move the markets this way. I think this is smart money positioning, making an impulse to dump and reload lower, and same here, while making people desperate and holding, right? Buying here, holding, and then buy again here and holding again, or just giving up. So I don't think this is an impulse triggered by retail, especially when BTC dominance keeps climbing. That's why I believe this cycle is way more, like, way stronger for altcoins than it looks. And again, this structure looks similar. The fake out here, all this drop, not as volatile as this one, a little bit more control. And what if we are entering this final stage? Again, this is the weekly. So final stage could be weeks away, which in return could be months, right? But what if we are entering this fake out here, making people believe that, yeah, this cycle there's no really any altcoin. RSI is still not as oversold as we saw here, but again, it doesn't really matter because it wasn't the time yet. And what if we are somehow getting close to this final area? I think there's a possibility we push in the coming weeks, but unable to break another dump before the final leg for BTC and for the whole market, and when BTC dominance finally capitulates, right? Because the difference here, again, is that BTC dominance here was dropping and altcoins weren't doing much, right? And we can clearly see here how BTC dominance has been pushing the whole cycle. BTC and the total free, they haven't really retraced that much, right? It's pretty much this whole range in their own bear market against BTC, with several attempts, several rejections, right? But the thing is, even though it's making new lows, it's not as weak as it was here, right? Way farther than from the top here. For example, let's say we are in this area now. It was like 100. This is the BTC chart, which again, it's very similar to the one I shared with the US dollars, right? The situation is the same. It's also showing a strength not only against the dollar but against BTC. We can see here how far it was before really pushing, right? So I think the situation is not as bad as many people think. It's just about time capitulation. That's what messing with people. And if we take a look at total free without the stable coins, the picture is different. Let me hide for a second BTC dominance here. And this is the situation we have here. If we exclude the the stable coins, we can see the picture is way different, because all coins, mostly perhaps propelled by XRP, because it's a big market cap and it has pushed a lot, but we exclude BTC, Ethereum, and stable coins, and we see that total free has indeed made a new all-time high this cycle, and that currently is above 2024, like March, April top, right? And above the 50, holding the 50 like it did in summer, pushing back down to the 100 here in April, and now retest of the Fibonacci extension below the 50 and back up again with this fake out, right? RSI is still, weekly RSI is still looking good, holding this kind of, the same for BTC, this kind of bull market RSI level that we discussed with BTC chart. And I think this is really, really ready to explode. We can see how the deviation, such a big deviation from the 50 that eventually came to reclaim, huge impulse here again, so fast it came back that it went back down as fast as pretty much as it climbed back. We can see that in previous cycle, again, let me emphasize on this, it really didn't reclaim. I'm not saying pushing hard, reclaiming DMAs until BTC dominance really dropped. This cycle, the 50 has been reclaimed for like almost 2 years now, and held and retested twice. Here it was only reclaimed when BTC dominance led some room to breathe. And again, without stablecoins, in this case, still 6x pretty much before BTC really dropped. And now it crossed the all-time high, it retraced, and from previous all-time high it's just a 30% move, and from current all-time high is 56. Without BTC dominance dropping beyond like a 5% or 6% move. How is this weakness? How is this not a tremendous setup for a big push, right? I still find it hard to believe the sentiment, but after all, sentiment never fits charts. Never. It never does. The triangle, you can form it from the summer. Triangle that I've shown several times here. You can also draw it from here, more or less, with the breakout and the expansion. You can draw several patterns and they fit, right? The thing is, this compression building, and without stable coins, it is holding the 50 perfectly. And you know what's next. Again, plenty of room on the weekly. We didn't even reach this area here. This is the weekly again, but if we take a look at the monthly, we can see how it is bouncing perfectly between the 10 and the 20 EMA band, right? It's bouncing perfectly, and again, compressing. Still below the EMA, so yes, no real strength until it crosses, like we did here in September, or we did here in October. But here we were rejected several times by the 50, although making higher lows and reclaiming the EMA, right? But we've been above the whole cycle after reclaiming, and this is the monthly. And we haven't lost the 20 except for some deviations, but again, if you want more accuracy, you go to the weekly, and it's been really strong in my opinion. Again, compare how the previous cycle we couldn't even reclaiming until BTC dominance says so. Way different picture. Way different, right? So again, there's no reason in fact, here you can see BTC dominance has been climbing together with all three. So the general idea that altcoins can't really, or haven't really pushed because of BTC dominance, it's a myth. It's a myth. You can have the general idea. Again, yes, this could be mostly influenced by the XRP and other big market caps that have been pushing, mostly XRP. But again, the general structure is way more bullish. BTC is around 108K, BTC dominance 65K, sorry, 65%, and altcoins look like this. Again, I don't see an all season, perhaps until breaking all-time high, and the next move could just make it past all-time high, and as I said with the other chart here, retest 1, 2, 3, and then come back to the previous all-time high, right? In like a 27% drop, not a or 30% move, not this kind of big retracement, but just another pullback into the final move for BTC and for altcoins. Again, this could take months, the rest of the year, something like that. But I believe this chart, excluding stablecoins, because stablecoins keep growing, I think it's very clear, and I think it's way stronger than most think. It's just a matter of time, and I believe many, if they're not already positioned, they're gonna chase. Most that have been suffering for months and perhaps even years, they will probably let PTSD make themselves, or perhaps the other way around, just the other extreme. We've been suffering for so long that now it's just the bull market has just started. So let's see, but again, be data driven. Don't let your emotions guide your decision later on, because it's gonna feel great to be driven by emotions when everything is pumping, it's thrilling, exciting. You might find even new projects that suddenly only pop up when everything is going crazy, riding the hype wave. And then you might think, okay, if I rotate my gains to this and just with another 5x, that would be huge. I could retire, blah, blah, blah. And then that's how you round trip it up. So I wanted just to share this new perspective. And if anything, it shows that the market is even stronger from this perspective than anything. Both from the exclusion of stable coins and from the perspective of total 3 versus BTC. Again, I hope this video has been useful. If you want to join our Patreon community, we make special videos there. We try to we analyze coins on request, so you can share your coins, and then I will keep updating them when things get overheated and potential exits might be ahead. So if you want to support me there, I will appreciate it. And we have a strong community, the chat, to discuss everything related to the market, and we will try to nail the next move as we have done since pretty much December. And if you do decide to join, thank you and welcome, and I'll see you there. Bye.